Let's start with one of the most twisted methods of painful death ever conceived: rat torture. Imagine you're lying there, strapped down, and someone places a metal cage on your stomach. Inside that cage, a bunch of hungry, squirming rats. Sounds like the start of a bad horror movie, right? Well, for some unfortunate souls during the 16th century Dutch revolt, this was terrifyingly real. So, how does this nightmare unfold? The executioner starts heating the metal cage. As the cage gets hotter, the rats inside begin to panic. With nowhere to go, they do what any desperate creature would do. They start digging, and guess where they dig? That's right, straight into your flesh. Picture this. You're lying there, feeling the metal grow hotter and hotter, and suddenly you feel sharp teeth gnawing through your skin. The rats claw and chew, burrowing deeper and deeper, trying to escape the unbearable heat. It's like having 1,000 tiny knives slicing into you all at once. And it's not just the physical pain. The psychological terror is off the charts. Just knowing what's about to happen can make even the bravest person break down. Victims would often scream and beg for mercy long before the rats even started their gruesome work. It's the kind of experience that leaves you wishing for a quick end. But it gets worse. The rats, driven by fear and desperation, don't stop once they start. They continue to gnaw and burrow until they find a way out, usually through vital organs. Imagine the excruciating pain as the rats bite through your intestines, your liver, your lungs. It's pure, unadulterated agony. And let's not forget the infections. In a time before antibiotics, any wounds left by these frantic creatures would quickly become infected, adding a whole new level of suffering. Fever, sepsis, and eventually a slow, painful death from infection. It's the kind of death that ensures not just pain, but prolonged, unimaginable suffering. Now, if you thought rat torture was a nightmare, brace yourself because we're about to delve into something even more gruesome. Lingchi, also known as death by 1,000 cuts. Picture this. You're in ancient China, tied up and about to experience a death so slow and painful, it makes horror movies look like bedtime stories. Here's how it goes down. First, you're tied to a post, completely helpless. The executioner starts with small, superficial cuts, just enough to break the skin. At first, it's like getting a paper cut, annoying but manageable. But then, cut after cut, it gets deeper and more excruciating. Imagine someone slowly slicing into your flesh, taking their sweet time, ensuring you feel every single cut. Each slice is deliberate, designed to keep you alive and in agony for as long as possible. It's like being nibbled to death by 1,000 ducks, only way more painful. This wasn't a quick affair. Victims of Lingchi could endure this for days. Yes, days. In some cases, it took up to 3 days and thousands of cuts before they finally succumbed. That's 3 days of continuous, unbearable pain without a moment's relief. But wait, there's a kicker. Sometimes, the victim's family could bribe the executioner to end it early with a merciful final blow. Otherwise, the goal was to maximize suffering, keeping you on the edge of death without letting you slip away. Talk about a bad day. And if that wasn't enough, this was often a public event. Picture a crowd gathered around, watching every agonizing moment. It was meant to be a spectacle, a grim reminder to everyone of what happens if you mess up big time. You're not just dying, you're putting on a show. As if Lingchi wasn't terrifying enough, let's take a chilling voyage into one of the most grotesque methods of execution, Scaphism, also known as the boats. Just when you think it can't get any worse, ancient Persia proves you wrong. Picture this. You're tied up between 2 boats, only your head, hands, and feet sticking out. Sounds uncomfortable, right? It gets worse. They force feed you milk and honey until you can't take any more. You might think, hey, free dessert. But trust me, it's not for your enjoyment. All that milk and honey isn't just a weird diet. It's a diabolical plan to attract insects. Yep, flies, ants, and all sorts of creepy crawlies swarm over you, drawn by the sweet, sticky mess. They cover your face, hands, and feet, creating a living, writhing nightmare. And here's where it gets truly horrifying. The milk and honey diet causes severe diarrhea, which, combined with the sun and the insects, makes for an unbearable situation. The insects don't just swarm, they start burrowing. They lay eggs, and their larvae feast on your flesh. Slowly, you're being eaten alive from the inside out. Before we continue, if you find this content fascinating and want to hear more about the darkest corners of history, make sure to hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more chilling tales. Now, back to the horror. Imagine the pain. Insects gnawing at your skin, burrowing into your wounds, and eating you from within. It's like starring in your own personal horror movie, one that drags on for days, even weeks. Each day brings more insects, more bites, and more agony. But it's not just the physical pain. The psychological torment of being slowly devoured by insects, unable to move or escape, adds a whole new layer of horror. You're trapped, fully aware that you're being eaten alive, bit by bit. Scaphism was reserved for the worst criminals, a punishment so brutal it was meant to deter others through sheer terror. It's a slow, painful, and humiliating death, designed to make a very public point. Think we've reached the peak of horror? Think again. Let's plunge into a horrifically creative method of painful death. Flaying. Imagine the worst injury of your life, then multiply that by 1,000. That's flaying. The ancient art of skinning someone alive. Picture this. You're captured, tied up, and completely helpless. The executioner approaches with a knife sharper than your mother-in-law's tongue. They start at your face, making that first agonizing cut. Slowly, methodically, they peel back your skin, layer by layer. Every nerve in your body is screaming. Imagine feeling every single slice, every tug, as your skin is peeled away like an overripe fruit. The executioner takes their sweet time, making sure you feel each excruciating moment. And it's like getting a paper cut, if a paper cut could cover your entire body. Historically, flaying wasn't just about killing someone, it was about making a statement. Now, the Assyrians were particularly fond of this method. They'd flay their enemies and hang the skins on city walls as a lovely decoration. It's the ancient version of a keep out sign. Think about it. Not only are you in unbearable pain, but your suffering is turned into a public spectacle. Your flayed skin becomes a gruesome banner of terror. It's the ultimate in physical and psychological torture. And here's the kicker. Infections. Without modern medicine, those exposed tissues are a playground for bacteria. Even if you somehow survive the initial flaying, you're likely to die a slow, painful death from infection. It's a lose-lose situation. But wait, there's more. Some cultures took flaying to the next level. The Aztecs, for instance, flayed war prisoners during certain ceremonies. The priests would then wear the skins. Talk about putting on someone else's shoes to a whole new level. Let's turn up the heat and talk about one of the most terrifying ways to go, burning to death. If you've ever had a severe burn, you've only scratched the surface of this agonizing method of execution. Picture this. You're tied to a stake, surrounded by wood, and then whoosh, the flames are lit. At first you feel the searing heat against your skin, and it's unbearable. The fire starts at your feet, and the pain shoots up your legs like nothing you've ever felt before. It's like being turned into a human barbecue, but without the fun of a summer picnic. The flames quickly spread, and your skin begins to blister and peel away. Every nerve ending is screaming as the fire consumes you. It's like being in an oven, but you're the roast. The heat is so intense, it feels like your entire body is being cooked alive. Imagine the worst burn of your life multiplied by 1,000. But it's not just the flames that are the problem. As you breathe in, the superheated air scorches your lungs. It becomes painful to take even the slightest breath. The smoke fills your throat and chokes you, making each gasp of air feel like inhaling fire. Burning to death was a popular method during the witch hunts in Europe. Suspected witches were often tied to stakes and set alight in public squares. It wasn't just about killing them, it was about making an example, turning their death into a spectacle. Imagine the ultimate viral video, but instead of cat videos, it's someone burning alive. The public gathered to witness, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames as your body slowly turned to ash. The worst part? Sometimes the fire didn't catch properly, leading to a prolonged and even more agonizing death. The victim might suffocate from the smoke before the flames even reach them, or they might suffer for what felt like an eternity, burning inch by inch. If you're new here, please do watch my other fun videos, and if you made it to the end, subscribe to help a poor YouTuber. Your support means everything. and together we can explore more of history's darkest corners.